Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cold Hard Truth podcast. I'm Jack Smith.
I'm Srikar.
And I'm Anish Gupta.
And, super wild card weekend is what it was made out to be. In reality, we got a decent week of football and some not so super games. Before we get into breaking those down, how are you guys doing? And how was your football weekend?
I had a great football week. I was able to watch the Niner game. Very, very thrilling. The Niners just know how to make you just worry and panic at the worst times. So it was a great game. Glad they came out with the dub, and I can't wait to watch them play Green Bay this week. It was a great football week, and I like all the other games we got as well, even though, a lot of blowouts, but still a lot of takeaways. So I liked it.
Yeah, just saying, if the Browns were here, it'd be a lot more exciting than it actually is. It's been a good slate of games, and all three of us had a 5-1 or better record. One of us unfortunately represents the 5-1. The other two are 6-0.
That's what I get for trusting Bill Belichick.
I feel like you're always wrong. Like, it's always when we don't pick the Pats and you do, it helps us. I feel like every time, but
except when I picked him over the Chargers.
Yeah, that one was a good one. So the games were fun. I know the blowouts. I guess a lot of people don't really like them. I don't know. I thought the Bucs-Eagles blowout at first was pretty fun, but I thought it was a good weekend, and I'm excited for next.
I would have been fine, I think, if it was just Steelers, Chiefs, and Bucs-Eagles that were blowouts. But the fact that the Patriots-Bills game wasn't
everything was, yeah.
That was kind of disappointing. My football weekend
is that the most. I wanted the Rams-Cardinals to be close.
I did too, and
that one I'd say is a little bit more disappointing than the Pats-Bills one.
That's
because
true.
In the cold, and the play was probably not going to be as spectacular as a amazing catch in SoFi, and someone would have been there to witness it.
That's true. Yeah, that's what I was getting into. My football weekend was great. I was deciding whether I wanted to, if you listened to the last episode, whether I was going to try and go to Monday Night Football, the first ever playoff game at SoFi Stadium for Cardinals-Rams. Ended up going, and I bought my ticket, and it was great because the day before I hit a 5-leg parlay that basically paid for my ticket. So that was pretty nice. Evened itself out, got to go to the game. SoFi Stadium is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I'd been to some nice stadiums, but I'd never been to a dome. I'd never been to any one of these, new revamped, super expensive stadiums. It's an experience. Everything from the mariachi band they have to the indoor outdoor facilities. It's absolutely fantastic. If you haven't been and you ever get a chance, I definitely recommend it. And, the game wasn't great, but it's cool. I can say, I was at the first ever playoff game at SoFi Stadium. So, super cool memory, first couple of weeks of college. That was really fun. But let's recap some of these games. And we're starting with the first one that happened, Raiders-Bengals. Let's start with the controversial call. I mean, I think get that out of the way first. There's a whistle that the ref did not mean to blow. Thought Joe Burrow was out of bounds. Ended up being a touchdown. And they sided in favor of the Bengals. They did not call the play dead, which is technically what the rules are. What are you guys' thoughts? Did it change the game all that much? All the Raiders fans that want to complain and say that, that's the reason they lost. What do you guys think about that?
I don't think it's the reason they lost. I wouldn't go that far. I don't think it was the right move because technically, according to the rule book, you got to blow it dead and you got to go again. But at the same time, they just called it at a very, how do I say this? At a very inopportune time. They had good intentions. The whistle came a little late. So I think you can go either way with that call. I don't think it changed the whole outcome of the game. I don't think it tipped the scales in any way. I just think it wasn't the right call. And, it's something we're going to see in every game. It's something we saw in every game in Wild Card Weekend. And unfortunately for the Raiders, it just broke that way. So I don't think it was a horrible call, but according to the rule book, it just wasn't the right one.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I would say the biggest thing that caused the loss is the penalties. They shot themselves in the foot. And, Alex Leatherwood, it was a pick. Actually, someone texted us about it, or me about it, and said, I remember you guys clowned on the pick on the live. Remember we did the draft live and they picked him at 17. We were like, what the hell? So, yeah, I think it's coming back to bite them. They took him too early.
As it always does for the Raiders in the first round.
Yeah. There's always, which we might, maybe if we want to talk about Mayock real quick, but
that's an episode for a future.
Yeah, that's an episode's worth of argument. But I think, Leatherwood just really sold this team. I thought Derek Carr played well considering the conditions. And, it's just these guys, again, a lot of them are young and it's their first game really in the winter up there. Because think about it, right? They've played 10 games in a dome. And they're also playing Western. So I thought they played pretty well. Zay Jones is a find. I think he's going to have a great next year. And then as for the winning team, the Bengals, this is just a sign of things to come. Like, the fact that they can do this while being this young, right? That just bodes well for them moving forward because you're only gaining experience. You only have to go up from here. And the first win in, I believe, 31 years exact.
Yep.
So good for them. And I think the biggest question will be that defensive line now without Larry Ogunjobi for them going forward, especially with Derrick Henry coming back. But all around great game.
I think my biggest question for the Bengals, and I'll talk about the Raiders in a second, is the fact that this game ended up being close. Like, that is not, I don't think, a good reflection on the Raiders. I think that's the Bengals' fault. They took their foot off the gas pedal. Zach Taylor had been absolutely killing it with play calling down the stretch of the season, and I thought he really took a step back in this one. His commitment to the run for a team that was absolutely blowing people out with the pass, it kind of weirds me out. Like,
I disagree just because throughout the time the Bengals have played the Raiders, especially in his tenure, they've won by running the ball. Like,
I know they've won by running the ball.
100+ yards the first 3 games. And
that's
January weather, right?
That's not always the cause. Like, just because you run for 100 yards doesn't mean 100 yards is the reason you win.
No, I get it. But I just think, like, for him, right, they kind of thrive on ending games or, something big in the third or fourth quarter off a big pass play, right? I think they break it down with the running game. But I am, like, sorry, to cut you off, but, like, I kind of agree with you saying that, Zach Taylor's plays are inconsistent. But I just thought the running for this particular game was fine. That's why, like, I like Ryan.
They just had chances to wrap it up before, and they didn't take advantage.
That point I understand about the running ball, but the fact that they barely, I don't remember the exact amount of snaps. I was listening to the PFF Tailgate podcast. They did not, like, actually build play action off the run. Like, he barely threw off play action in that game. So it's like, if you're going to establish the run, then use play action, like, off of it.
And Mixon had 17 carries.
Yeah, but
I think that's a little too low in my opinion.
Really, I disagree with you guys.
17 carries, 48 yards. So he wasn't even.
Here's the thing. Like, I think the Bengals won this game more by the Raiders selling themselves. So I think the Raiders lost.
They wouldn't have been in that position if the Bengals kept their foot on the gas pedal.
Yeah, I will give you that. I don't know, because I thought the passing game was working, right? So I guess they could have run it because, like, Jamar was absolutely torching up that secondary. And
I know it's like you're playing it, and it was Desmond Trufant out in coverage, like,
yeah, who's slow. You're not going to catch him.
No.
Yeah.
I've been impressed by Zach Taylor, though. I got to give it.
And that's the thing is, like, I got
to give him credit
to being impressed with him over the last couple of weeks of the season. That for them to kind of, like, go back into their shell a little bit. I just don't think, like, I said it in one of my sports classes this week. If the Bengals play call like they did last week, I don't think they beat the Titans.
Agreed.
Like,
oh, yeah.
You don't want to get into a slow running match with the Titans.
Yeah, because I feel like they'll win the time of possession every time. Like, they will. You don't want to get into that because
they're gonna out possession this Cincy too.
Yeah. You guys want to move on? Patriots, Bills. Not a whole ton to talk about in this one. Just an absolutely perfect game from the Buffalo Bills on offense and a near perfect game for them on defense. Who wants to start?
I mean, you want to go?
No, you can go.
All right. I thought, hey, gotta shout out the boy Joshua freaking Allen. Love that guy. I think this just goes to show you the difference between a marginally good quarterback and a great quarterback. Josh, has finally proven to the media, I think in the last couple of years, that he was the talent that the Buffalo Bills should have taken. I remember he got booed and people were like, oh my God, is this the guy? He's inaccurate. I think the biggest thing about him is his leadership and how he's rallied this team together. And same thing with the safeties, Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. Like, this was, I think remember Srikar said they'd win the division and do this. So I think they were thinking that in their mindset too. Like, they were not having it from the media. I think the Bills team was just more, how do I say this? More driven and more motivated. I feel like the Pats rode behind the whole narrative that, it's Belichick. Like, he'll get us past the first round. Like, you got to have faith in him. Because I can talk about all the football I want in terms of just the Bills play calling was incredible. I thought it was a well balance of everything. They got the running game going. They got Allen really loose. I thought that was the biggest key. And we all thought that was what Belichick would take away.
They didn't take away anything. Like, that was was resounding takeaway on the game is, like, I don't know what their game plan was because they did not take away a single part of the Buffalo offense.
No,
I think maybe in his head, he's thinking, like, or at least I don't know why they didn't spy more and just honestly go man coverage, because you have you have a JC, right? And if you go too high, right now I'm getting a little schematic, but if you go too high safeties and you put your guys on their guys, right? And it's a man-on-man matchup. You can easily double team on Diggs over the middle with Devin McCourty, who's a great safety.
I thought they just put JC on, a guy like Cole Beasley, something like that.
Shadow cover.
Yeah, and then just double Diggs, and then you would have been fine. They didn't do that at all. They didn't. Yeah, as Jack said, they didn't take anything away. I thought they'd take away Josh Allen's legs, and he was running free. He was perfectly fine. I think for New England, they made all those signings in free agency just to be 2 games better and get smoked in the wild card round. So it's like the road isn't clear from here because you don't have a ton of money this year. I think they're sitting at around like 20 mil in cap space, and you still got to sign your draft class. You got to bring back JC Jackson. Mac Jones is going to need weapons. You got to find a pass rusher, to go alongside Matthew Judon. There's just they're going to find a lot of answers in the draft, but then again, they're, picking towards the bad end. So I don't know what New England is going to do now this offseason. It's going to be very interesting because there's a lot more questions than answers.
Yeah, I mean, like the reason that they played, they were so good under Belichick, it was first of all Belichick, but like Brady took a big step and became an elite quarterback. Like he's the still type of prototypical, pocket passer mold that Mac Jones is in. Doesn't have the best arm, is like really accurate, but like he found that next step. I mean, I don't know if Mac Jones has that from what we've seen so far. It's something that we're going to find out next year.
I mean, yeah, not everyone's going to be on the pace as Brady. And also, I
know, but not the same pace, but like,
yeah,
I just don't know if the upside is there with Mac.
Yeah, agreed. Because
like, do you think that Mac can be better than like Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford?
In terms of build, he can be like a Kirk Cousins, like in terms of mobility in a pocket standpoint, because I think Derek Carr is more mobile and he's got a better frame. But for Mac Jones, I guess, this was a really good learning experience, right? Like, I just think he's going to come back, right? And I think he still needs to get behind learning this offense and just honestly getting better at throws down the field, which you can improve on. Obviously, you can't improve arm strength, but you can improve touch and you can improve accuracy on those type of throws. And I think he will do that. And for I guess this is probably the worst defensive performance we've ever seen from
absolutely.
Belichick.
Yeah.
So one really bad stinker in 22 years, it's not like you can completely lose faith. And I guess this just shows, I was high on Brian Dable, but I think people really need to take another look on him, and especially the divisional round. How do they fare on tough conditions on the road in that environment in Arrowhead, because they did do it on Sunday night a few weeks ago. So hats off to the Bills. I just think they were more prepared, more motivated this game. In this final point, huge stepping stone for the franchise, because now you're saying, hey, we're not the little brother, we're here to play.
Yeah, I think Dabble clinched himself a head coaching opportunity. I'm sure he'll have his pick of the litter. Bill's assistant GM is going over to be the GM of the New York Giants. So maybe keep an eye out.
You see they leaked it a day ago?
Yep.
Do you guys see it?
Yeah.
Oh, you saw that, right? It was on the notifications of the website.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a Giants thing to do. You make a good hire, but you leak it the day before. One game that we kind of weren't surprised to be a blowout was Buccaneers versus the Eagles. One thing I was surprised about in that one, though, was just how bad Jalen Hurts played. Like we've all had our different opinions on Jalen Hurts, but I think we all think he's a better quarterback than what he showed on Sunday. And now, some Eagles fans have some questions going into next year. They've said they're sticking behind him. What are your guys' thoughts on that game and Jalen Hurts' performance and maybe his standing as an Eagles quarterback next year?
This
Jalen Hurts. Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say,
yeah,
this is probably the Eagles' most interesting offseason in years. You got 3 first-round picks. You got a question at quarterback. Everyone is just wondering, what does Howie Roseman decide to do? Because Hurts is cheap, he's talented, he has upside, but that whole second half of the season, he wasn't amazing. He got 250 yards once, and then I think he was under 200 every other game. Aside from that one. So you look at the tape on this Tampa game, you look at the tape from the second half of the regular season, which route do you go? You can stay with Hurts, use those picks to build around him, maybe a few defensive upgrades, another weapon maybe, or you could trade draft capital. You can get yourself a Russell Wilson, a Deshaun Watson, and Aaron Rodgers, maybe. I mean, it is going to be crazy. I'm really excited to see what direction they go with this. I don't know. It's going to be a very tough decision for Howie Roseman.
Yeah, I remember we did the stock up, stock down So I'm gonna defend Hurts on this game too. Like I kind of did. I've been kind of doing throughout the year. I just think for Hurts, right? The Bucks basically I saw a clip. I don't know if I sent it to you guys, but they basically said that like they ran college defense because they just didn't think he could progress through the first read. They were daring him to throw.
I saw the quote graphic, like he just can't read defenses.
Yeah, like they were literally daring him to progress through. They were like, you know what, we'll sit and we'll see if you can dice him up. And he showed his limitations as a passer, but I thought in the fourth quarter he showed, again, I think a little bit of
It
toughness.
was garbage time though.
I know, but I think they showed what they are capable of with him. Like, I would still say, because look, I'm doing the Pickett versus Corral vid. It's on the way, and I've been watching these two guys in the 2022 draft, and I did it for last year too. So comparing it to last year, there is I'm close to saying significant downgrade from the talent or the capabilities from the 5 that I looked at early last year. So, with the 3 first-round picks, this is a huge test for Howie Roseman. And, I think honestly in the next couple of years, if he doesn't hit on these picks, you're going to say, hey, we just made the playoffs. We had 3 first-round picks and you squandered this opportunity. I think that's, a big telling test for him. But for the Eagles, again, I think they do give Hurts another year. You can't go off a guy who, won the games that you needed to, right? And yes, okay, they struggle in some of those, but they were close in the earlier Tampa game. They were close the Chargers game. So they've had some fight. It's not like they just got blown out. And you guys know how I feel about Nick Sirianni. I love him. So I think give this tandem another go. Yes, he's limited as a passer, but in 2023, maybe you package your pick and move it on to the next round, right? Or sorry, next year. Who knows? We got some time.
And I think it might look like the Eagles are doing the one thing we asked them to do this offseason. Remember this offseason, we were like, the Eagles for about 3 or 4 years now have not just given their quarterback a bill of confidence and said, you're our guy. And it feels like that's kind of what Nick Sirianni did last week. We'll see if they stick through with it. I mean, it's still very possible they select a quarterback in the first round and have a competition. Like that would not surprise me one bit. And if they like a guy on the board more than they like Jalen Hurts, I mean, it's the NFL. Like,
yeah,
if you get that guy, you can be the Bengals and make the playoffs in the second year with an incredibly young team. And if you don't, I mean, you could be missing out on the playoffs every year or getting into that 7th seed and getting blown out in the wild card game. So like, it's a really tough battle. I mean, I want them to, whoever they go with, give a bill of confidence, but also like they have 3 first-round picks. And if you have 3 and you draft 2 position players and you draft 1 quarterback and you miss on the quarterback, that's okay because it's less of a risk because you have 3 first-round picks. Jalen Hurts is already there. It's a tough little, it's a slippery slope. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like, do you think that they could possibly take one first?
I think it's just about upside, right? Like this is similar with the Dolphins and Tua, right? We were like, okay, you're going to make the playoffs. You got a playoff caliber roster. It's just what you do when you get there. And I guess we did see, Hurts struggle. This was a game that, usually you're not going to play in these conditions though, right? Like I feel like colder weather would help him more. Just because the run game obviously and you also saw Philly get absolutely mauled in the trenches. Like I don't know if you guys saw it, but they got worse. Seconds the Bucs run defense was there, and someone took note of this. This is the first time every starter's been healthy on this Bucs team since the Super Bowl. So,
and now we might have questions about that with Leonard Fournette, Tristan Wirfs, who they put back in after he got injured in the game that they were going to blow him out.
No, yeah, it was one drive.
I don't know why
they wanted to test it, and it was one drive, and he said, "Nah." So
Ryan
we'll talk about that
also.
in the preview, though. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's save on that.
Will Jalen Hurts ever win the Eagles a Super Bowl or even get them to one?
I think it's still too early.
I can't say that confidently.
It's too early. Oh my god!
I still think because look,
I can't say that
started fully for 1 year. Like he's only gotten the keys for a season, and he's
got a winning Super Bowl though.
Yeah, but
that's.
Look, I mean, can he have the second year leap? Like Kyler was very limited as a passer his first year. I want to see. I want to get one more year of it. The 2023 class is way better.
See, right? But Kyler has far more passing talent, as does Lamar Jackson.
It's not even about the draft class. You can get a veteran this year. You can get a Russell Wilson. You have the.
If you have the if
you want to make that type of upgrade, I wouldn't be opposed. It's it's those caliber
but guys. It's just I wouldn't either. It's just morale of the team, and also this puts an insurmountable pressure on the guys when Russ gets there, because you're a playoff team with Hurts, and everyone believes Russ to be a way better version of him, right? Expectations will skyrocket for a very young team, aside from some core guys that are still there from that 2017 team. There's only a couple. that are really having a significant role. So I don't know. Time will tell, but I'm going to give him one more year. I think he deserves one. And then, but I do agree if the weigh your options. You've got.
I mean, I guess the
full
Eagles
2
can
months.
argue too that Nick Foles won them Super Bowl. So pretty much anything can happen no matter
That's
what you
true.
have at quarterback. But
Yeah.
the team is far less talented, I believe, than it was in 2017. 49ers Cowboys. Srikar, I know you must have been excited for this one. Again, like we started with the Raiders and the Bengals. Let's start with the controversy. Quarterback draw at the end of the game. Thoughts?
What are you
opinions?
doing? I saw that, and obviously I had like adrenaline in me, so I didn't even like process what was going on. I watched the game after. What in the world were you thinking? 14 seconds left, and you run a QB draw, and then Dak just moves the ball like 3 yards up, and then instead of giving the ball to the ref, which was bad on him, and then he has the nerve, to blame the refs after the game. Mike McCarthy defends the call. It's just, oh my God, what a mess. What a mess. And look, I think Dak deserves that fine. I think he deserves that fine for, saying that the fans should have threw trash because of the refs. Because if you take 14 penalties, and keep in mind, half of those were pre-snap, and none of them were controversial at all, it's on you. I don't know like how you can blame the refs when each one of those calls were the right call. Like some of them could have been a false start instead of a neutral zone infraction, but for the most part, they were getting it right. And, the Cowboys were just severely undisciplined, and it was just an ugly game for them and a mess. And I saw somewhere that, they were nervous and just unprepared before this game. And some aspects of this game, you could kind of see that. I mean, San Francisco was just a lot more physical. It just, I hate to say it seemed like they wanted it more. It just looked like that until the very end when Dallas decided to put up a fight and Jimmy Garoppolo wanted to throw a hideous interception right when he just should throw a great, like, Jimmy Garoppolo-esque interception. So it was a very weird game, one that had me on the edge of my seat multiple times. Just bad coaching, though. I'll say bad coaching on both sides, just because I think Kyle Shanahan was a little bit conservative at times. Obviously, he took the delay on 4th and 1. I would have went for it there. Second quarter, instead of taking the field goal at Dallas's 22, I would have gone for it there. I don't know. There were lots of opportunities to put it away, and we didn't capitalize on it. But unfortunately, at the end, we pulled through thanks to Mike McCarthy being very, very dumb.
Okay, wait. I think it was a false start, not a delay of game on the 4th and 1.
No, but we took the delay.
Wait, I thought it was a false. Wait, Jack, was it? Wasn't it false?
Oh, right. No,
Yeah,
it was a
because
on the
Trent
QB
went
sneak,
over.
'cause Trent.
I want to say you're
moved,
thinking
yeah.
of a different game
Yeah.
because I know what you're talking
Yeah, I might be.
Yeah,
be.
so-
yeah, it was. He got a delay.
So, wait, he got a false?
A false start.
Yeah,
my bad.
okay. Sorry. Okay.
I'm getting mixed up.
Here's I'm actually gonna defend the call. Like first off, kudos for all three of us getting the SF upset. And
Wait,
the
which
fans.
call? You're defending the QB draw. Is that what?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna defend
Okay.
it. And
Okay.
I know it's Cowboys with clock man. It's just so funny, but I mean, I can't defend the penalties. Like, yes, it was a poorly coached game. That was no doubt. But the call, here's my thing. Okay, first of all, the actual execution was bad. Like, three people are at fault here. Dak is at fault for not sliding earlier. The center is at fault for not giving it to the ref, and Dak was also trying to push.
That's on
down.
Dak. Dak has to give it to the ref.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Usually, you need like 17
That is
seconds
true. Yeah,
to
Dak
run a
actually
play and
should.
spike.
Yeah, I think just both were cute. Like, I think the center was just caught off guard too. But I think like if the center knows you're giving it, then he should have also like tried. And then third is obviously the ref, because I thought you should have sprinted with him as he's going. Like,
That's true.
because what is happening behind you, right? Like, as a ref, I've seen refs move with the play. So you are technically supposed to run with the play. The game is not over, right? And you obviously, if he's going to run it, they're going to try and spike it. As a referee, I should be there, or at least be there quicker. So I think all three were sort of at fault. But the call, here's my thing, right? I would much rather have, let's say he slides a little bit earlier. I think they were down at the 23, 24. Let's say he slides, 26, okay? I'm much more confident in one shot from the 26 than I am two shots from I think it was 41. I'm more confident in that. Like, I just think you can get a better play. Like, the Niners already are kind of weak on the back end, right? And I feel like you can get a throw over the middle like we saw Herbert do on 4th down. I feel like you could get even a throw on the sideline that Dak threw earlier in the game. I would much rather take that chance. So I'm going to defend the call. Horrible execution, though. I mean, they said they practiced it, but I don't think they practiced
Dallas
it the way
Dallas
would
only
do it.
really they really got going once they started to go to the quick game. And I think they should have been doing that the whole game.
They messed up on
The coaching staff didn't really help Dak. I mean, Dak had a pretty bad game, but they weren't doing him any favors.
Yeah.
I mean, I get what you're saying about, if it was executed correctly, it's not the worst call. But at that point, if you're going to run over the middle, like it would be faster to just run an in with the receiver. And they're giving you the middle of the field because they want you to throw it to the middle because they know you don't have any timeouts. So
yeah, that's true. You do have 14 seconds.
It's also easier. It's easier to execute. The ball travels faster than Dak can run. And if it's incomplete, then the clock stops. So
yeah. It's also 14 seconds. That's not enough.
Yeah,
time.
they even Romo was saying it. I believe Romo called the game. Yeah, he was saying like that's barely enough time for one play in bounds. Not even enough. Yeah. I don't think he said.
You would need like a few more seconds.
And also, if I'm the Cowboys, I mean, I don't know how much super or like not superstition, but like thoughts playing anything. Like this is where you guys sort of struggle. Like you just don't want to play those kind of risky games, especially when your season's on the line. Like I'll give you, but I thought they were just really confident in the fact that they could get a 26-yard play, and I'm not mad at that. But I think for the Niners too, as you said, Srikar, Kyle Shanahan was again the play calling in the fourth. You just got to be concerned with that a little bit, right? Like
yeah, I am.
Yeah, and
that's what I'm thinking about Zach Taylor too. It's like the same argument I'd have for both coaches right now.
Agreed. Yeah. And again, I think I said this earlier, right? Dak is a B+. I heard that from Coward, and I agree. Like Dak is just a B+ guy. Like he's the definition of a B+. He'll have his insane moments, and then he'll have his, have his downs.
Is he really a franchise guy though?
That's what I'm saying.
You gotta ask.
In the NFC East,
you said he had a good year. I don't think he lived up to his contract. Like
I think he had a good year in a terrible playoff game. Like I don't know if he can win those games for you.
Agreed.
He's a franchise quarterback in the NFC East. Like that's the billing.
Yeah, see, that's what you're getting. Yeah.
It's all
for teams. It's all about what you're kind of getting with floor and ceiling. I think floor and ceiling has a huge pivotal part in the NFL, like especially with important positions.
And I don't even think it's like there's been some terrible quarterback performances over the years. I mean, you look at Carson Wentz and Sam Darnold have like half those games, and we've witnessed them firsthand. Like Dak doesn't have those kind of matchups, but for some reason, at this point in the season, the offense just goes stale. Like it's completely stagnant.
It'll be like 1 minute they're scoring, touchdown after touchdown. Then the next minute it's like, 50 yards on like 6 drives. Totally.
It makes no sense. I do not get it.
They're too volatile. They're too volatile in offense. And that's why I'm not sold on Kellen Moore.
I don't think I'm sold on Kellen Moore either. But I still think he's a better coach than Mike McCarthy. Like that's the worst part of this whole mess is the fact that McCarthy gets to run it back next year.
I just don't see. Here's my problem, right? Because everyone talks about how freewheeling he is and he lets people do their job, but he's still handling the personnel.
Yeah, he's still signing off on every decision,
right?
If he's letting everyone else do their jobs, his one job is to deal with the players, run practice, and call timeouts at the right time, and not call QB draw.
Or just look at
the end of the day,
McCarthy and learn it yourself, right?
McCarthy is their boss. Right? McCarthy's their boss. Like he's going to sign off on every single decision. So even that draw play, it's going to be on him and Kellen Moore.
And for the Cowboys, if he's really just like the manager of everyone else's jobs, like he lets everyone else do his job, why is he still the head coach when you might lose Kellen Moore? You might lose other coaches from your coaching staff.
The Cowboys are looking at it like, oh, we won a winning season with them. We don't want to give that up. Like, I feel like that's like what they're thinking. I just don't.
A winning season is not what this Cowboys roster.
Yeah, exactly. It's not what Cowboys fans should be expecting, and they never expect that.
I mean, this Cowboys team with all the talent they have should be expecting a Super Bowl. Now they've had some injuries; their offensive line's always beat up, but I don't really want to defend the Cowboys right now. And for them, like this, I've heard this. A lot of people say this week. This was their window. Like their contracts were like a lot backloaded, so they're going to start kicking up. Dak, I believe, DeMarcus Lawrence. I forget the other names, but like their contracts are going to get worse. Their cap situations can be pretty tough. You're not going to be able to bring back guys like Randy Gregory, who, really helped boost your pass rush and improve the defense. Michael Gallup is almost foregone conclusion. He's done as a Cowboy.
He's gone.
I don't know. You're going to start like this Cowboys team has not been successful. And now you have to start adding some holes to the roster.
I think, it just goes down to show also like skill positions don't really win you games in the playoffs. Like can you name me the last time like a top 3 receiver has won a Super Bowl? Like
Tyreek Hill.
Only Rice.
Tyreek.
I mean, I don't think he was top 3 though.
Godwin.
I don't. No, top 3, like top 3 in the
Godwin's
NFL.
not top.
Okay, Tyreek Hill.
No, I think he was 4 at his time when he won it. Like I thought
that time.
Are we splitting hairs?
Yeah, but like I just think it's like I feel like it's hard for you to win with like just skill position. Like that's not where you win games. It's in the trenches. Like, and look at
Well,
what
I mean,
Travis Kelce was also the best tight end in the league.
Huh?
The Cowboys will argue they have one of the best offensive and
But
defensive line
that's
combos
what
in the
no,
league.
but they didn't win the line of scrimmage that day. Like I'm saying the game, like game wise, when game by game. Obviously, by talent, you can go back and forth with them. But I just think the game came down to the Niners getting pressure, right? And even when the Cowboys got pressure, Jimmy's pick was off. He was getting pressure on the pick. Like I feel like that's just how you disrupt a good quarterback while they're on the field, right? There's two keys. When to keep them off the field, you got to get a good run game, and to keep them on the field in pressure situations, you got to obviously bring the house or win the line of scrimmage. And
I think more than anything though, they just beat themselves. I think that's all.
Oh, of course.
But that's the McCarthy way. I mean,
yeah, like that's what we've been talking about literally all the time for the last whole season, right? Can you stop beating yourselves over? Stop doing dumb things when you're up or when you're in a favorable position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are going to be in the crossfire of a lot of our offseason content. So we will spare them for now. Steelers Chiefs. I mean, let's spend one whole minute on this game. It was close at the beginning, and then the Chiefs went nuclear, and the Steelers showed us who we've known they have been the entire season, maybe like the most boring offense in the NFL. I have respect for the career that Big Ben has led. That's all I'm going to say.
Patrick Mahomes threw 5 touchdowns in the span of 11 and a half minutes. I mean, it was just a vintage classic Chiefs game. I mean, I was kind of, a little bit worried at first when TJ Watt had that touchdown and, Chiefs were kind of faltering, but it just kind of seemed like, as usual, they flipped a switch. They got it going. So I don't really have much to say. I mean, I'm looking forward to this game against the Bills more than anything, but it was Mahomes being Mahomes and the Chiefs being the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs were just better than the Steelers, better at all 3 phases. And
funny how that works out.
Even when TJ strip sacked him, recovered the fumble and scored, I wasn't worried at all. Like literally because we've seen him come back down 24-0. We've seen him come back 9-0 in the NFC or AFC Championship, and like they just come back 20-10. So they're used to kind of going nuclear after being behind. So that's simply what they did. As you mentioned, Mahomes was spectacular, and my homeboy reminded everyone that this little slump he was in was just a little slump, and he is still a top 3 QB, undisputed in football. And then for the Steelers, Big Ben, thank God he's gone. All the games that he just beats us. Now we finally have a chance to sweep these guys in the regular season. But I mean, kudos to a career Hall of Fame, no doubt. But the Steelers were just not. They were top 3 boring offense. Them, the Bears, and the Giants. Like sayonara. I really wish we saw Herbert instead of you. And they made it.
Maybe this is why we should have 6 teams in the playoffs, so we don't have to see the.
You want to get into that, mate? I would.
No, not today. I mean, I already talked about the college football playoff. I think it was a couple weeks ago. We'll get into that another day. Cardinals Rams. I was at this game. It was really ugly. Like it was everyone in the stadium kind of knew that the Rams were going to win within the first 5 to 7 minutes of the game. Like it was ugly. The Cardinals just did not have it. They were very sloppy. They just didn't look prepared. And you hate to cop out with a statement like that, but like it was obvious who the better, more prepared, better coached football team was on the field.
Kyler and Cliff. It just didn't feel like he was ready or like he was even remotely prepared for that type of spotlight game. And it's kind of concerning to me because we're 3 years in. Like he's got to be ready for that at some point. And it still feels like he's a year away. And I don't know how many times we can keep saying that because he's got to be there already. For Cliff, I don't know. I genuinely feel like he has to be on the hot seat next year.
Well, they've got to renew his contract. Like it's not, they don't even have to fire him. It's just a question of whether he's coming back.
A Cliff, I don't know what he's going to do, but I'd hope that he's not the coach for the future because his teams are just always slumping. Keep in mind, he had Mahomes in college and Kyler in the pros. And even in college, his teams slump. It's just they don't maintain a consistent pace and they always falter near the end of the year. And I don't know. It's just very concerning if that's just a consistent thing. It had to be a concern as he was getting hired. So I think Cliff has to be on the hot seat. And Kyler, I don't know. I'm very disappointed in him. I'm disappointed in this Cardinals team. I think the Rams just came out and handled business.
Yeah, quickly. So here's my thing. I'm actually going to defend Kyler and Kingsbury.
Of course you're going to defend them. That's all you've been doing all episode.
I have to. Like, here's why. Okay. They've been getting better every year. Like, they're still taking steps. So
it doesn't matter if
okay, but hold on. So year 4 is usually when a QB, like we've seen in past.
Zach Taylor and the Bengals went out and won a playoff game. Coming off a torn ACL.
I'm not saying. Right. So look, I'm not saying they're not at fault. Like, I'm just saying they shouldn't be getting heavily criticized. Like, I still think Cliff should get another chance. Like, he still made the playoffs. He still had a good start. And yes, I know there's a consistent basis of him faltering in the end of seasons. Like, there was a graphic. I'm sure you guys saw it.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah. Like, so look, but Kyler and Cliff have been taking steps. Okay. First, it was getting some wins against some good teams like the Seahawks the rookie year. Then 2020, one game out, but they were 8-6 and they had a really good start. Now here, same thing, made the playoffs. Okay, you lost the game, but I still think this is I think the final year, because now you want to see progression, right? Because then if it goes back, I think you're done, right? In year 4, you can confidently say the faith of the QB. I still have faith in Kyler. I think with D-Hop, it's a different story, at least in the first quarter. I think they just wouldn't have gotten mauled offensively. Like, the Rams, both offensively and defensively. Again, I hate saying it, but I'm going to reiterate it again. Playoff football is decided by the trenches. As you can tell by literally every game that happened, and honestly every game in general. But yeah, the Rams just came to play more. And because here's the thing, Eric Weddle was messing up. Like, there were miscommunications throughout that back end. And the pass rush really helped out. Like, they really, I wouldn't say bailed them, but were pivotal. And I didn't really see, again, shadow coverage from Ramsey. I saw him move around, right, a lot along the kind of box and outside. So that's why, when people say like, oh, even when I'm saying it too, I just don't think it would have changed the outcome just because he is, matched up on more. And we'll talk about it for the matchups later in the preview. But I just think the Rams also on offense really, like, Cooper Kupp, I think, is the best decoy now in football, because he's always drawing double teams. And look at this. I mean, everyone's trying to tell me, look at Odell, look how good. Like, he can't succeed being a number 1, but look at him as a number 2. Like, in single cover, he gets single coverage every snap and he thrives in it. So, it's just,
and he's got a cannon. That was a dime piece thrown by Odell. I think to sum up your points, like, I definitely think that they would have been far more competitive with DeAndre Hopkins in this game, but I also think that's like a signal, like, Kyler without D-Hop was not that great. And I think it's also like a testament to the Cardinals need to start drafting better. Like, they've hit on Kyler, but that was the number 1 overall pick. Like, if you miss on the number 1 overall pick, you're doing something wrong. Like, outside of Kyler and a couple pieces they found to be like starters, like Byron Murphy, I don't think is a star corner, but he's solid.
Simmons is looking good.
He's solid. Isaiah Simmons, like,
he's getting better.
He's getting better. But their first round pick this year,
Zayvon Collins
barely played.
His best play I remember all year was on special teams.
Yeah. They really have not found any, pieces on the offensive line through the draft. They really haven't found a receiver. Like, Christian Kirk is, I would say, like a number 3. Outside of that, like, outside of Kyler, and, they drafted Rondale Moore. He was okay at the beginning of the season, then kind of didn't use him all that much. They've really had nothing through the draft. Like, we thought that Josh Jones, remember during mock draft season?
Yes, we were all
ended up drafting him in the 3rd round, and, like, we really haven't heard his name. Like, I don't know. I think the Cardinals, like, yes, it'd be nice if DeAndre Hopkins was healthy, but also they need to, make a better, more deep roster, and they need to start finding some more pieces to the draft, because they really have not outside of Kyler.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Agreed.
You guys ready to get into the picks for this week then?
Let's do it.
That's 4 games. I was telling these guys earlier, and I don't know if they fully agree with me, but I think divisional round of football is the single best week
I
of
agree
football of the entire year. I mean, it's better games in the wild card round, but more games in the conference championship. Like, this is one that you mark your calendars for. It's week 1, Thanksgiving week 18 in this case. And now we've got the divisional round. It's an extremely exciting week, and I'm excited to get into these games. First one, Cincinnati, Tennessee. Tennessee coming off of a bye. Mike Vrabel is 8-0 apparently when having 8+ days of rest for his team, but he's getting the Bengals, a very hot Joe Burrow-led Cincinnati Bengals. Who wants to start us off?
I will. This has somehow become just the forgotten game of this weekend. And honestly, it shouldn't be. I think this is going to be a great game. Tennessee has been pretty underrated. I don't see many people talking about them. I feel like they should be talked about. They've gotten a lot of great wins this year. Obviously, they have the 2 against the Colts. They beat the Chiefs, the Bills, the Niners, the Rams, and those 4 teams are still playing. So on the other hand, Cincinnati, they got that explosive young offense and a quarterback in Joe Burrow, who can be the guy for the next dozen years. Who knows? I think this game is going to be a trenches game. I think it comes down to whether Cincy can actually out physical Tennessee, and that's going to be tough to do. But I think it's going to come down to that because Tennessee is going to be rested. They've got an amazing front four. Obviously, you have Jeffrey Simmons, Danico Autry, Harold Landry, Bud Dupree. I don't know if they can really match up physically with them for 60 minutes. So I'm going to take the Titans in this one.
You want me to go, Jack?
I can just kind of echo exactly what Srikar said because it's kind of the analysis I had. Like,
yes,
I really want to take the Bengals, and I'm one of those people that have been, I guess, underrating, or I would just say sleeping on the Titans because I just haven't been sold on them all year. I think that they kind of lucked their way into the number 1 seed. Like they are not the same number 1 team as you look in the NFC and you got the Packers. Like it's a very different story. I think they're a rather limited football team. I was pre-playoffs when I was doing all my predictions. I had them losing just about every time, but it's just tough to do because, you talk about the trenches and you've got Derrick Henry coming back. And I'm a little bit worried about Zach Taylor. Like I mentioned earlier in the episode, I'm a little bit worried about Zach Taylor. The Titans aren't that much better in the trenches, but I have some belief in their pass rush ability. And I think that is, what you need in order to limit Joe Burrow's time to throw and you limit the big plays. Like, remember when we talked about last week, if the Raiders got pressure on Joe Burrow, they'd have a chance. They really didn't. Like Joe Burrow had a pretty sizable amount of time on most dropbacks. I think the Titans can figure it out. I really, really, really want the Bengals to win because I just think that'd be far more entertaining to have them in the AFC Championship game. But I think I have to go with the Titans. And that's not even mentioned. We're getting Derrick Henry back. The Titans on offense are a completely different team with him in the lineup. So fresh legs, fresh foot. Derrick Henry could be dangerous. I got to pick the Titans.
Oh, this one's tough.
I know. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Because I love both QBs. You guys know I love Tannehill and I love Burrow. And I think, Tennessee struggled last home playoff game they had last year. So it's not out of the question for them to come out, especially with 2 weeks of rest. You don't know what you're, a little bit hurt momentum. But I'm glad they played the final week because they kind of had it's a good morale win going into the playoffs, I think.
They also didn't have much momentum to lose. That's the thing. Like they really stumbled that back half of the season. They were tons of injuries. Like, I don't think they lucked their way into the one
injuries, but they got a lot of great wins.
But they got a little good wins with the injury. Like they beat the Rams without Henry. Like
if anything, I think that got them more momentum.
I still think they're a formidable team. And here's the thing with I think the matchup you want to look at, obviously Srikar mentioned, and I feel like for every game, we don't even have to say it, trenches. Like if you look up our open transcript on our vids and you search up trenches, it'd be like everywhere.
Every video.
Yeah. But yeah, I think also another matchup is Jamar Chase, Christian Fulton. He is going to play. And I think, we talked about this earlier, right? Man coverage is where he thrives, but it's also where you can beat him. So this is huge on him. And obviously Byard will help out in, 2 high shell, as I had said earlier. This pick, it's tough because I really want to go with Cincy. Like I really do. I feel like if anyone can come in there and just beat them, it's them. But I just feel like the Titans are going to lean heavy on that run game. And, especially them being at home. We've seen them be better at home this year than last. Key to stopping a good quarterback is with the run game. Keep them off the field. I'm going to go with Tennessee as well.
I'm glad that we're not differing on this one because I knew that would be one that come back and bite me in the butt. Because I figured, if you went to Bengals, I know you'd get it.
I go with Cincy, but my gut's telling me.
I think this could end up being the best game of the whole weekend. It's San Francisco versus Green Bay, Saturday night. Green Bay favored by 5.5 right now. That seems a little bit generous to me. This could be a case like we said, Tennessee having the week off lets them get healthy, kind of build back. This could be the case. Green Bay's now had not only the whole week off, but they had their starters had the second half of the Lions game off. They could be a little bit rusty. And we've seen them struggle playing the 49ers. Is there a window for an upset here? Either you guys got the balls to take it.
Oh man, it's the biggest spread of the week. It's the biggest spread of the week. I think it's fair in some, respects. Also, Who knows? I think, the Packers are the best team in the NFC, maybe the best team in the NFL, but their weakness is stopping the run. And guess what the Niners love to do? They love to run the football and play physical ball. Can the Packers really match that for 60 minutes? I don't know, because they've had the worst run defense in the league over the past month. And if they can't get Jimmy Garoppolo to win the game, if they can't force him to throw, I mean, they're going to be in some trouble, and I think we could see an upset here. However, Aaron Rodgers.
Come on.
It's Aaron Rodgers in
Come
Lambeau.
on.
He has a great receiver in Devontae Adams going against a bad group of corners. With an injured front seven, obviously Bosa and Warner are hurt. They both look like they'll play, but I'm not expecting them to be 100%. It's going to be an injured front seven trying to pressure him. I'll say this. If the Packers lose this game, it'll be one of Aaron Rodgers' most devastating losses. I will say that. He has never gotten this monkey off his back. He just can't beat the Niners in the playoffs, and this is his best opportunity to. I think if he doesn't win this game, then there will be a lot of talk.
So who are you picking?
Oh, right. I'm going to take the Packers.
Okay.
I'm not brave enough.
Oh, this guy, he's trying to jinx it, but Packers Niners doesn't get any better. Bakhtiari, I think this is his first game playing, right? Back from the
if he does play.
Yeah. I think he will. You have to play him. Same with Jair, I'm pretty sure he's back in. So you get two guys, and then you got two guys who are injured. Again, it's just Bosa down. If Bakhtiari is there, can he contain Bosa? That's a tough matchup coming back. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, Lambeau in the cold, right? This Niners team is a young team. They like this core, at least. It's not the same as that 2012 core or 2013 core that went in there in the cold and won. Completely different team. The key is what they're schematically though. They're pretty, favorable in terms of matching up with Green Bay. Honestly, out of any wild card team.
This is not the matchup that Green Bay wanted.
Yeah, Green Bay probably wanted you. I think Dallas, Arizona, any of those, they would have loved way more than this one. It's a tough game. I'm going to lean towards Aaron Rodgers, though, in the cold. I can't see how you lose. I feel like this has just been his year of just finally writing off everything. So.
You never know, man.
With the Pack, yeah, you never. So pick the Niners then, dude. Come on.
No, I'm not brave enough, man. Not brave enough.
I told myself I was not gonna have too much faith in the Niners, and that I was gonna take the Packers because they're the best team in the league so far this year. Aaron Rodgers, the MVP.
So many narratives, dude. It could be a Packers collapse, or it could be Rodgers finally writing. It's just
I don't know if I expect a Packers collapse. I feel like this, the last time that these two played in the playoffs, it was a blowout. Like the Niners absolutely wiped the floor.
They were the better team.
What?
They were the better team.
But they also ran the ball. And
I'm expecting it to be a much closer game than that. Sure. I think that the Niners can still have
SF streak.
I think they can still have success. I do not expect either team to get blown out. I think it'll be a 3-point game either way. It's not. I don't think that the Packers are going to beat the Niners by more than 5.5. But do I pick the Niners or do I pick the Packers? It is. See, that's the thing. I feel like team-wise and narrative-wise and schematically, everything is telling me to pick the Niners right now. But there's one guy that's holding me back, and it's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is incredible. He's been the best regular season quarterback for 2 straight years now. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers. I think that they have a real chance. I think that they match up very well with the Green Bay Packers. The rushing attack. You're right, Srikar. They've had a really poor run defense. They do get some guys back, but the Niners, I think, if Bosa and or Warner were not playing in this one, I think it'd be much tougher for me to pick the Niners. But
you know what, Jack? I'll switch my pick. I'll go Niners with you. I'll go Niners with you.
This guy over here.
Damn.
Get a load of this guy. Eh?
I've been thinking about it, man. I've been thinking about it, but.
Okay.
Are we allowing that? Are we allowing?
Jack, what do you think?
Sure, we can. It's still on camera.
All right, we'll allow it. Well, yeah, that was what I'm saying. I think San Francisco 49ers, they really match up well with the Packers in this one.
But if SF wins, I'm only giving Jack credit.
Yes. All right. Well, as long as I get my credit, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
All right, the record will still stand.
Yeah, the other NFC West team in the playoffs is the Los Angeles Rams. They're taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 12 p.m. Pacific time. Buccaneers favored by 2.5. I've gone last every time, so I guess I can start. There's been the narratives that there's like 3 people in football that you never bet against, right? It's Nick Saban, it's Bill Belichick, and it's Tom Brady.
Oh, don't do this. Oh, wow.
2 weeks ago, we saw Nick Saban fall
to
Georgia in the national championship. Last week, I got burned. Bill Belichick. Oh, that's the wrong finger to keep up after counting down. Look, there's a legitimate chance that Tom Brady could lose this game. The Buccaneers are a little bit banged up, especially on the offensive line. And we talk about the trenches, the defensive player of the year and Aaron Donald and, all the other guys on that Los Angeles Rams defensive line were feasting against Arizona. Tristan Wirf's a little banged up. Ryan Jensen got banged up a little bit. Not sure how much the Buccaneers can run the ball if it comes down to that. And their secondary, like, while there are some pieces and it's been playing better as of late, they've struggled somewhat this year, and they've struggled against teams with a lot of firepower. And the Rams right now have some of the most firepower in the league. Van Jefferson guaranteed like 140+ yard reception every game. Odell Beckham Jr. has been great as a number 2 wide receiver. Cooper Kupp's been one of the top 5 best players in the league on the entire season. It seems like he just always ends up with 10 catches for at least 80 yards and a touchdown, even if he's like barely getting the ball early in the game. So, I've talked myself into it. I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams in this one. I know it's hard to bet against Tom, but I said that last week. It's impossible to bet against Belichick, and that did not pan out well for me.
This is a very, very, very fascinating game. Obviously, the Bucs are hobbled offensively. No Godwin, he's out for the year. Wirfs and Jensen are both questionable. And that's going to be a problem because the Rams have Floyd, Miller, some dude named Aaron Donald. He's going to be lined up inside. I mean, hopefully he makes a big impact. My question is, can Tampa protect Tom Brady enough? And when on defense, who is going to be covering Cooper Kupp and OBJ? Like, every single matchup is forcing me to think that I should go with the Rams. But can you really believe in Matt Stafford against Tom Brady?
That's the thing. Like, this is exactly what I said last week. Like, I felt like I almost perfectly picked, what the Rams were going to do. The ball wasn't in Stafford's hands to make those big plays the entire game. They were able to run the ball pretty well.
I'm going to go with the Bucs just because I trust Tom Brady more than Matt Stafford in a playoff game. I said this all the way back in week 3. If the Bucs and the Rams saw each other again in the playoffs, I would take the Bucs, and I'm going to stand by that. I'm going to take Tampa Bay here.
This is my favorite match for the week. It's one amazing. By far for me. You guys know how I love my boy Cooper Kupp. Debo's still in. Both those guys are still in. But look, I saw a video the other day where it was like everyone's giving this quote unquote great analysis on how the Rams should win, and then everyone's like, who picks the Bucs is like, but they have Tom Brady though. It's more than that. I'm going with the Bucs, and here's why. Their run defense, right? How did LA win the first playoff game? Not in Stafford's hand. I was gonna get to that. They won it by running the ball. And yes, Akers cost them a little bit of yardage throughout the game. And yes, what do you call it? Like, the best play was the pass to him, 40 yards. But they ran the ball down the throat. So they completely one-time possession, wiped out Arizona in a quarter. Right? I think by the first quarter, you knew it was over. And that only happens by running the ball. So I feel like Tampa can stop that. I trust their defensive line way more than I trust the Rams offensive line, which is honestly saying a lot. That says a lot to the Bucs D. And as you said, Jack, I know their back end has been bad all year, but it's also been injured all year. This is the first time they're fully healthy. I love the safeties, how they play. And yes, I trust Tom Brady more than Matt Stafford. And I think in a home playoff game, it's going to be really hard for a guy, who's been pretty good in divisional games as of late, especially this past decade. But we've said that, and the Rams have won now 2 straight against Tom Brady. Or they're 2-0 against Brady in the Bucs uniform. So it's hard to go against it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to stick with Tom Brady here.
It's a tough one. And for me, that sets up Niners, Rams, or NFC championship.
Oh my, no. If that were to happen, no, I would be so mad. Actually,
I'd love Niners Bucks, and I'd love Niners Bucks.
No, I would really want Niners Rams just because I feel like, great. If I say
I only want Niners Rams or Packers Bucks. Like, I don't want any other.
Niners Bucks would be a good one.
But
physical teams.
I'm sorry.
I think it would be nice.
I'm sorry.
It would be a good one, but
it doesn't matter who you're picking. It'd be a good game.
Also, go
know.
back to Packers and the Niners. How long into the broadcast will it take them to mention Aaron Rodgers getting passed on by the Niners, wanting to be a Niners fan?
They're going to do it within the first 5 minutes. As soon as he takes the field, they're going to say it.
And how long will they wait to mention Mostert's 220-yard game? I feel like maybe a minute.
And how long are they going?
They're literally going to mention his previous 3 games versus the Niners within a minute. I guarantee it.
Probably. No, how long are they going to? How long is it going to take to mistake Joey with Nick? They are going to mess it up. They did it so much during the Dallas game. It's just so annoying.
They're very different like sizes and like builds. It makes no sense. Last game, best game of the weekend. I mean, we've been building up to this game since last year. Like these were the 2 big powerhouses in the AFC. They're playing each other 3:30, not a night game, but it's on Sunday, 3:30. Chiefs favored by 1.5. It's the Chiefs and the Bills.
It was a night game for East Coast guys.
And that's true, I guess. You have not started yet. I don't think
I'll start.
You start.
I will start. Yes. Damn, man. Josh was here. This is a rematch. Now I think here's one of the biggest. I'm gonna say it right away. Here's one of the biggest reasons why I'm picking the Chiefs. Okay, it's very hard to beat a good team twice. Like for me, I don't know what it is. For a good team, it's so hard to sweep them. Like, the Saints never fully swept like Brady. I mean, I guess this year, but like in the playoffs, they didn't. Like he was the one who I feel like Mahomes is going to get the last laugh, and it really sucks to say because I feel like if this was at Buffalo, things would have been different. But the fact that this is at Kansas City again, right? I just don't see how they get embarrassed twice in a row. Like I think the game was like 30-13 at one point, Buffalo, prime time this year. I just don't see how that happens again. And I think that was part of Mahomes' little skid. He's way more confident than he is now. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. I really don't want to. I really want to see Josh get through that hump because I think this is the one hump he needs to get. I feel like if he gets past this game, they will go to the Super Bowl. I will say that. But yeah. Oh, also the Bucs pick, I forgot to say, is contingent on Wirf's injury. Sorry.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So, all right.
Best game of the weekend. Maybe the best game of the season. Buffalo's won 5 straight. Kansas City's won 10 of 11. It's like both teams are looking for revenge too. Buffalo's looking for revenge from AFC Championship. Chiefs are looking for revenge from Week 5. So it's going to be very interesting. Both teams are definitely Super Bowl worthy. So it's going to really suck to see one of these teams get eliminated. I think it's going to come down to whether, Josh Allen's legs. Again, I'm going to mention it again. Can he run wild? Which QB is going to be more comfortable in the pocket? Which O-line shows up? Oh my God. I can't bet against Mahomes in the playoffs. I literally can't. Not in the divisional. I'm going to go with Mahomes and the Chiefs here.
I feel like such a menace for varying with you guys on just about every game up to this
point. Going with the Bills, isn't he?
I'm going with the Bills.
There you go.
I think, and I don't know if you guys would agree, maybe this is just the same takeaway that I've had kind of for the whole Chiefs season. They have had some amazing games, but I still don't think they've shown up. Like, I still think that they're kind of in a slight skid. Like, I don't think I have seen a complete performance from this Chiefs team, at least this back half of the season. Like, they've had some great games, but I still feel like there's always been some problems. Like,
what about wild card?
There was such a slow start.
That was only complete.
Dude, they went the entire first quarter without doing anything.
I mean, the Washington game. I mean, well, I guess you don't want to really count that because they're not that good. But
no,
I mean, when they saw Pittsburgh in the regular season.
Yeah.
Game.
I still feel like there's like the boogeyman in the Chiefs closet. Like, I just think that there's still something up with this team. I don't think that we've seen like a complete performance. We saw a complete, I would say, perfect performance from the Bills last week. Defense and offense, a perfect performance from the Bills.
I think they need.
That's hard to do.
I know it's hard to do again, but like, I don't know. I think both
Goliath, man, it's so hard. Like, I mean, hey, we'll continue. Why else do you think?
So, I mean, both of these quarterbacks, like, I know it's Mahomes, I know it's Allen. I think they're on the same level right now. Like, I still think Mahomes is the better quarterback, but they're playing at the same level, and they have been. And I think you're right. Like, the extra added thing is Allen has his legs. I think that he can run the ball pretty effectively, whether they take it away or not. Like, if you're taking it away, you're probably leaving something else open. The Bills have been getting production from everyone on their offense, whether it be Devin Singletary, Gabriel Davis, obviously Stephon Diggs, Dawson Knox. The offensive line has played, better. I don't think it. I think that it's kind of a wash. Like the battle.
It's held its own.
What?
It's held its own.
Yeah, but I think it's a wash between both teams in the trenches. I think they're both pretty solidly the same level on both sides of the ball. I don't know. I'm just feeling the Bills. I'm just feeling the Bills. They're riding in with momentum.
Bills Titans. Yeah,
Bills Titans.
I would have Bills Titans rematch.
I feel bad for taking all the favorites.
But coming into the season, I said, I think the Chiefs have some Super Bowl hangover. I don't think that's faded. I think we've been distracted.
Ooh, yeah.
I think we've been distracted by some big blowout wins that I don't think are perfect performances. The Bills put together a big blowout win, and I think it was a perfect performance.
Damn,
that's a good point.
That is going to be a great.
That is going to be a great weekend, the hangover.
Man. I gotta pay off my preseason take and take the Bills in this one.
Man, that's a good point about the hangover, but we'll see next week.
I can't bet against Mahomes, man. I just can't.
We'll see next week. But yeah,
I think this is the AFC Championship game. I mean,
it should. Yeah,
really.
I like the.
I got a story for you.
I'll spoil. I'm not afraid to spoil my pick. No matter if the Titans win, I'm picking whoever wins this one.
Really? Okay.
I mean,
well, I would differ.
If the Titans look good, I don't know, man.
I would differ.
Really? All right.
Yep.
I think there's an argument to be made.
You guys got any more points for divisional round? Back to the wild card.
Not divisional round, but Baker had a successful surgery. Wishing him nothing but the best. Road to recovery. Just my little Brown segment for they're out.
I was gonna say, yeah, you hadn't mentioned them all episode actually. Yeah. No, that's not true. You said it was kind of sad they were in the playoffs.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I think that's the only thing. Wrong Ohio team. It should be us against the Titans this week, which we probably would have won. But it's all good. It's all good.
Well, you'll be back next season. I'll probably pick you guys to win the Super Bowl again.
Don't.
Hey, go Niners, man. Go Niners.
I'm rooting for the Niners in this one. I want to see them.
I would love your matchup. I feel like that's my favorite one. That would be because I'm all about narratives. That. I feel like the biggest narrative game is that honestly, Bills, Chiefs, and Bucks, Rams. Those are the bigger narrative ones.
Do you really want to see the Niners in the playoffs not the playoffs, Super Bowl?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Obviously he does. I don't.
No,
I don't.
I cannot
I want to see Sean McVay. I want
to
see Rodgers or Sean McVay out of the West, and I want to see not the West, the NFC, and then out of the AFC, I want to see Josh Allen or Joe Burrow.
I think Bills Rams. I want the Super Bowl to be a matchup we have not seen this year.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I cannot believe too.
And you know what? Trending with the NFL history, it's always kind of like that. It's always a different matchup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we have seen,
well, Chiefs Bucks last year was something we saw.
That's what I'm saying. No, but it wasn't a rematch of anything.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's trying to look for a Chiefs Bucks rematch.
I'd love to play the Chiefs again, honestly.
Yeah, because that means you made the
revenge.
Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I know. Exactly.
This guy.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about Super Bowl matchups.
Dude, you know what's the one that's tearing me now? The Chiefs Bills now. I feel like you gave a really good case about the Super Bowl hangover, but I just feel like it'll hit them a little bit later. And the Bengals Titans too. That one.
These are all tough. I mean, that's what you're going to get at this point in the season. I just cannot believe I picked the Niners to make the NFC Championship game after the season they've had so far.
I know.
That's wild.
We were thinking some
after
really
that Colts game.
Here's the problem too. If my thing works out perfectly, I said earlier in the season, I think the Niners get further than the Rams in the playoffs.
You did.
You both did. And I said no. Oh no.
So I'd have to pick the Niners to make the Super Bowl. Ooh.
If Niners Rams happens, I might just pick the Niners because every time I pick the Rams, every single time, it has cost me for the last 3 years. I'm not doing it again. But you know who I'd be rooting for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Obviously. We know who you're rooting for.
You're rooting for the Niners.
Always rooting for.
That's all we've got for you guys for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed the Super Wildcard Weekend, and we hope that you enjoy the divisional round. We say this every time after picks, but if you go to our Instagram, you guys can vote too, because you guys, I think, what was their record last week? I didn't quite see which ones they went.
I think they went 6-0 too.
They went 6-0.
6-0. So yeah, all you guys got to do is keep up that pace.
Jack and I are differing on 3.
We're different on 3 of the 4. So it's going to be a big week. the playoff picks could be won this week. So make sure you go vote on our Instagram. Polls will be up probably today. Srikar's on that. I don't know when he's going to get to it, but probably up today.
I'll do it today.
So yeah, anyways, we hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We hope you guys have a great weekend. We've been the Cole Hardwick Podcast, and we will see you next time.